Welcome back to Phonics in Action. In this video, we go up a level to a new phase of phonics. We are jumping into the spelling of the long vowel sounds A, E, I, O, U. In this particular video, we are looking at the split digraph pattern, which is one way we spell words with a long vowel sound. Let me explain how it works. In the olden days, people spelled words like cake as C-A-E-K, things like that. They put an E after the A. But when the printing press arrived, the typesetters did not like the look of this way of spelling. They split the vowel digraph, A-E, and put the E at the end of the word to signal that the other vowel had its long sound. And that is how the split digraph rule came into our lives. In words like cake, rope, maid, cute, hope, tube, the final E signals the long vowel sound. Thousands of words have the split digraph pattern, so we do need to teach it. Can lessons about this rule go wrong? Nothing can go wrong if you just talk about a split digraph. But teachers over the years have invented weird stories to explain the rule. The stories seem to hang on. Even today, there are classrooms where children learn about the silent E, the magic E, the bossy E, or the policeman E. It's all silly, really. The E is not silent, it is a marker. It is not bossy, it's not a police person giving orders, it's not magical. A Year 3 student that I was tutoring wrote a story called Yucky E. She wrote, "I don't like the silent E, it's in words I don't like elephant and egg." It's a lovely story, but she got it all wrong about the E. There isn't a silent E in elephant and egg. Strangely enough, she did write like with a final E. She understood the rule. The silent E story, though, had confused her. The final E is just a sign, like a stop sign. We don't talk about a stop sign being silent. It's a sign that tells us to look back and read the preceding vowel as a long sound. And there is a history to this. And it's interesting to ask about the history of this rule. Like if we flash back to the late 1400s, if there was television way back then, the split digraph might have been big news because it changed the way we spell words. In 1476, William Caxton arrived to London from Belgium with a new invention called a printing press and brought with him a group of Flemish typesetters. The typesetters immediately struck difficulties with English spelling because there were so many dialects in England. People spelled words the way they sounded, but they sounded different in different places, so the spellings were different. The printers could only use one spelling and it had to be consistent. But which way should they choose? It was a mess. There were 60 different ways to spell night because of different dialects, such as net, night, nicht, nicht, nicht. The typesetters complained to Caxton about the lack of consistency, and Caxton decided on a solution. Like to spell a word like maid, you write mad and then put a final E. And that was it. From then on, instead of 60 ways to spell a word, there would be one way. And that was how the split digraph rule came about. That rule has stood the test of time. It has stayed with us for hundreds of years. Now you might be thinking about words like have and give. They don't fit the rule. Yeah, that's true. But what happened was that the printers got carried away and they used the E for other things. For example, with words like have and love that ended in the, they didn't like words that ended in the, so they added an E. As a result, every word in English that ends in V has an E after it. They use the E for other things as well, but we'll look at those stories another time. So how would you teach a lesson on the split digraph rule? A lesson might go like this. Hello everyone. Do you remember how to write the 5 vowels? I will write them out for you. A, E, I, O, A. The 5 also had a long sound. They are A, E, I, O, U. And what we're going to do today is we're learning about the split digraph rule. You remember a digraph is 2 letters making one sound. And in this lesson, we're learning how to read words that have the long vowel sound. So look at these words. Do you notice anything special about them? I'll read them. Cake, Eve, time, rope, cube. That's it. The words all have an E at the end. Do you know why? Well, the final E signals that that first vowel has its long sound. And that's the split digraph rule. Let's see how it works. Look at this word. Yeah, that says Tim. But what if I wanted to say time? The split digraph rule says to add an E. Now, I could write it as like that. I'm. It's not correct though. I need to separate the 2 sounds, the I and the E, and put the E at the end. So we'll erase the E and we'll put it at the end of the word. Now that is the correct way to write time. And that's how the split digraph works. I've taken the digraph in the middle, the I, and split it and put the E at the end. Do you want to try some more words? Yep. Look at this word. Is this right? Yeah, it's got M-A-E-K, make. Yes, even though it sounds right, it's not the right spelling. We need to split the digraph and put the E at the end. And that's the way we will write it. Like that, make. What about this one? Is this one right? So, like, it sounds right, but it's not the right spelling. We have to split the digraph and put the E at the end. And like, that's the right way. Yeah, one way to learn this rule is just to practice reading and writing words that have this final E. Can you read these words? K-ake, cake. K-ite, kite. Ape, ape. B-ike, bike. G-ate, gate. Tube, tube. Excellent. Well done. Well, this is the conclusion, and this part's for you, the teacher. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this video about the split digraph rule. Like, what I tried to do was, number 1, explain that some ways of teaching this rule are just plain confusing. I've suggested that we explain to our students the story of William Caxton. It will make the rule much easier to understand. Students will learn that this is not just a random rule to memorize, it is part of our history. And number 3, I've provided a mini lesson on how you can explain the rule to your students. Now, as a teacher, it may seem challenging to teach this rule, but if you do it this way, show how the rule came about in the 1400s with Caxton and the printers in London, and then show how to apply the rule, children will get it. The split digraph is a powerful rule. It works for thousands of words. It helps beginners to decode words that look very similar, but they're very different, like hop and hope. If children can already read simple words like mad, it's just a short leap to show them how to read words like made. I don't think you should use expressions like silent E or bossy E or policeman E or magic E. The final E is not silent, bossy or magical. Some children will find those terms confusing. Although split digraph is technical, children do soak up terms like digraph, and it does not bother them. I would rather they go home and tell their parents they learned about split digraphs than about bossy E. Not only will they dazzle their parents with their vocabulary, they'll be able to explain to their parents that a digraph is 2 letters making 1 sound. Their parents will think, what an amazing child she is. It's a little scientist in the making. Have fun.